everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of The Social Mind. Happy New Year to every one of you who have been following the page. And I mean, Happy New Year to everyone. We have made it, so we should be grateful. There are a lot of us who did not make it to see the new year. And this season of The Social Mind, we're going to be talking a lot about mental health and I guess stress, suicide, and so on because it seems to be on the rise. My first guest for this series is Dr. Christopher Williams, and we're going to be talking about the arts as therapy, in particular, drama as therapy. Now, drama therapy is the intentional use of drama on or theater processes to achieve therapeutic goals. Drama therapy is embodied practice that is active and experimental. This approach can provide the context for participants to tell their stories, set goals, express how they feel, solve problems, and just to be liberated overall. So, drama therapy, to define it, is one of the things that the creative arts or the creative industry does. This means it uses the elements of drama that is a creative technique to achieve, like I said, therapeutic outcomes. The aim is to offer a safe place for its participants and so that we can express and reflect in a safe environment. So that's the purpose of drama therapy from my understanding and my research. Dr. Williams is going to clarify that deeper into our conversation. So Dr. Williams, he holds a PhD or a doctorate in administration and management with a special emphasis on process drama therapy. He developed a unique model, Mentorpiece, for human resource development using the performing arts. He's the founder and director of C.R. Williams Performance Arts Academy. Dr. Williams also holds an MBA in international business and a Bachelor of Arts degree in education. He's multilingual, a certified filmmaker. He's specialized in drama. He's a specialized drama educator, theater practitioner. He's a published artist, musician, radio, and television producer. He's also a certified gender advocate who uses drama as a means of rehabilitation and therapy. His Drama for Peace program has directly impacted and helped persons who have been victims of abuse, trauma, even thoughts of suicide, depression, ADHD, and OCD. Dr. Williams, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you again. And thank you so much for coming on the Social Mind to talk about drama as therapy. I'm not sure if you have been following the news, but I mean, worldwide, a lot of people, particularly coming out of COVID, a lot of people have been experiencing mental issues. And those are the social ills sometimes we take for granted. We tend to call them crazy. And sometimes people might be battling their own internal, I suppose we call them demons, and they don't have that safe place. And you as an educator, I guess I'll be zooming in a lot as to what you do in the classroom with your students. Yeah? So again, thank you for coming on the Social Mind. And is there anything that you would like to share with us about yourself?
Yes, I want to say thank you. Thank you for having me. Oh, you didn't mention where I'm from. Did you say that? I'm from St. David's,
No,
Massachusetts, Colesgap.
no, I did not.
I love to say
But he's a
Colesgap
St.
because
Davis
I'm
man.
proud of my St.
Your
David's
heritage.
territory. Yes, yeah, you understand. So that's basically, of course, you've said it all, in a little summary there. And I've been doing drama, using drama as a form of healing for persons in Jamaica and Grenada. So I just wanted to tie in that a little closer. It's
Lovely.
more Caribbean wise, but I wanted to just nail in that part of it so that we understand the value of drama here. Yes, thank you. So I'm everything else.
I know. So, Dr. Williams, tell us, how did you get into, what made you go into drama therapy? How did you get here?
Whoa.
Just your journey of how did you become a drama therapist?
Wow, good. Let me see if I could follow that path and trace it for you. Yes, when I started doing drama, theater arts, drama in education, I noticed that most of the students who came to the institution, let me jump back to Jamaica quickly, came there because doctors sent them there for healing. They couldn't help them. Yes, and even when I went back to lecture, the doctors send them there. I say, why did you come to school? Well, the doctors say, go and express yourself because we can't do nothing to help you. And that's from therapists, from counselors who say they give up on these persons and they throw them, they send them. So both in Jamaica and in Grenada. And in Grenada, I've noticed a number of persons who were lined up and say they call them mad. Nobody wanted to help them. And say, well, okay, they're sending them up to the home, the mental home, because depression, they think that the person is mad. But me not understanding the power of that, I know that they were not mad, they were just highly depressed. And so I developed the program because I've been working with a lot of the institutions from GINO to social services to Child Protection Authority when they couldn't get people to express when we go to communities to talk about their problem. We were using the drama as a means of helping them to express and come out. And so they were able to discover so many issues in communities where their projects were failing. Sadly, though, it was becoming too powerful and they felt that they should not use me anymore. So, yes, they stopped using me because one of my programs, the persons I was helping, was actually a victim of one of the institutions who refused to help her. And so they put her into more and more stress. And then when she came to me, she started regaining consciousness, feeling better. And so they saw it as a means of blocking that connection. But it's a deeper story than what I'm giving you here. And it's so I had to develop this program when these persons were written off by counselors and psychologists who said that they're mad, they cannot help them. They came to me, I developed my mental peace program and transformed them. And especially one of them who they said, well, that's the end of her. She's now doing 3 jobs, very well, managing her own business, on top of the world. You understand? There's another one who attempted suicide about 3 or 4 times, and they gave up on her, raped, even by people who considered counselors and advisors. She came to me and we fixed that. So these are the things I've been doing. And I had to develop this program because in Grenada here, it's so dangerous. From, you name it, everybody they went to, they were getting abused. And the people who were supposed to be helping them. So that's why I said, no, if these organizations are not helping them anymore, I would now create my own program because they always come to me for the help. And I developed my program because I've specialized in drama in education. I graduated with honors. I mastered all forms of the arts in Jamaica. And now I'm using it as a higher level where I'm no longer just using it for performances, but for cleansing of the mind. And so I brought the program to Grenada with highly successful. I've helped over 60 persons directly. I've helped families, broken relationships, suicidal, you name it. And that is why the program has value here. That is a synopsis of the journey. Maybe next time I can give you more juice of it. But that's a synopsis of the journey.
You're not the first professional I would have heard would have said that, when people go for counseling and so on, they are sometimes abused by those same people who are supposed to help them. That is rather unfortunate. It means that you're adding on more layers to what that person is experiencing. And so we would continue to be in that cycle where you cannot come out of that depression or whatever it is you're experiencing. So I am happy that you take that route, and hopefully people are looking at this, and if you're going through, I suppose, anything that you probably want to talk about, you can probably use drama therapy. And maybe you don't have to talk about it initially, but I suppose you can just come to your school and we can express how we want to express and dramatize whatever pieces of skits or whatever you give us. I would say us, because like I said, all of us have different challenges at some point. Nobody's life is perfect. So thank you for sharing your journey. I mean, that's interesting. There's also an eye opener. So then I would argue here that drama therapy is really needed in all aspects of our lives. But I guess we will get into a deeper discussion as we go through the show. So Dr. Williams, tell us, what are the qualifications and skill set that one needs to be a drama therapist? Let's just start off with that.
Well, interestingly, what you need the drama therapist, as they say, if you would check it out all where you go, all the universities, oh, you have to have a degree in drama therapy, or you have to do some training. But it's basically, when you look at the drama therapist, you are looking at psychology, some level of training in psychology, you know?
Right.
That's basically where you spring them from, or maybe some form of social work. That's where you pull these persons from. Added to that, you would be tied to the performing arts industry. So if you have a performing arts degree or so on, or you love the performing arts or the creative arts, you can slip into the drama therapy aspect of it, because there are different zones or areas that you can work in. But it's required that you have a degree, but in fact, they say a master's degree in drama therapy, which ties in psychology, and of course, but I'm not, oh, let me not go into that part yet. Not everyone who goes there has a degree in psychology, but you do the courses. You would do the courses.
Right.
Yeah. So basically,
Right.
to become a drama therapist, you would have to go through that process, do the training, do psychology development, lifespan development, all of that. And then you move in where you focus more on using the drama strategies in a university or wherever you go, and then they take you and you do some capstone projects, some training. You combine the clinical approaches and aspects of it. So it's a holistic approach, basically.
Okay. Okay, lovely. So that one must have higher learning and really focusing on the psychosocial aspect of human
Definitely.
behaviors and activities. Lovely. So tell us,
Definitely.
I know that you're an educator and you said you work in Grenada, well, the Caribbean on a whole,
Yeah.
and in particular Jamaica and Grenada. Tell us how drama therapy works.
Oh, interestingly. Well, I would always like to simplify it for those who are just hearing it. It
Right.
uses a means of exploration, right? So you explore issues, challenges in the form of scenarios. You see? So
Right.
when you replay, and I'm simplifying it here, you replay issues, challenges in the form of scenarios, and you use role play, you use improvisation, so that the I would not say the victim, but the person or the client who is facing this challenge or the challenges can relive possibly this moment, or you help them walk through the path of this moment so that they can see and then get that level of cleanse, or what we call the catharsis, because that's really the focus.
Yeah. Right.
Cleansing is really towards cleansing the mind or the issues or the challenges that the person faces, right? So the drama therapist or the practitioner would take the person through a few activities, issues, or challenges, and then they role play or they replay or they reenact certain things, and then you assess the process as it happens. Yeah, that's the simplest way I could put it, so that I want everybody to understand the process. That's how it happens.
That's okay. I mean, simplicity would get us on board and give us some kind of context as to how
Yeah.
that process takes place. So, what are some of the strategies that you in particular use, let's say, in your curriculum or with your students that you are actively engaging? What's some of
Okay.
those strategies?
Yeah. So as I say, exploration, because notice I tend to lock myself in what you call the process drama therapy approach, because you would hear mainly of drama therapy, but I say some say process drama therapy, where you delve look really at the beginning, every stage, every obstacle, every incident. So you're building every form of exploration, right? You look at it. And of course, I use a lot of just as the drama therapist, I use a lot of improvisation and role play,
Right.
yes, which is foundation. But I go beyond that and use what you call mindscape. You know, you're globally traveling. So
Right.
right, so you get the person to visualize, okay, visualize things, reenact things, review things, or you call flashback. I use a lot of that. Flash forward, just as film. So all these strategies, they work, but you have to be
Right.
very, very, very skilled in getting it, you know, to happen, or for getting the client to pass through that process and to manage it carefully, because it's a journey that can be dangerous. So that's why I say that the
Right.
process is very critical. So I use that. I use role play. I use improvisation. I use mindscape, you know, and these are the key ones that help them to value, see, reflect, and flashback.
Something you mentioned that sometimes the process can be a bit more traumatic for, I guess, I would call them participants in this case. Yeah. Um, why do you say that? Why can it be? Why sometimes that process, even if you're reenacting or you're going through a particular period in your mind, yeah, you're re-envisioning what would have happened. Why is it traumatic sometimes for the participants?
You
Why,
see,
why,
because
why do you say sometimes it's traumatic?
yes, because you are dealing with the emotions, huh? And most drama
Right.
therapists would speak of protection into the emotion because you are taking them on that journey. And let's use that again, that journey into that thing that is affecting his or her
Affecting.
life. But mentally, that is blocking you from operating as you want to operate. Yeah? And so, but getting there, most persons do not want to see it or do not want to face it. So when you
Yes.
reenact and you put them there, it can be even more painful and cause them to break down. What do you do next? Is where your skill comes in as the therapist. Because
Right.
there are persons, even therapists, who break down with the clients. Dangerous. Dangerous. So that's what I say. It's a part where you can have both persons crying and you don't want that to happen. It's not an easy road. Because
So then,
it
so
can
then,
break
what would
you, it
be
can make you, and it can break you. Even the
right? So
client.
then, what would be uh, that? That is a strong skill one needs to really have, and one needs to be, I suppose, your emotional intelligence will play a lot here. Yeah, because, imagine I'm going through something and I'm trying to reenact this, and both of us break down crying because I guess it might be so powerful that you're actually feeling my emotions as well. So one emotional intelligence has to really be critical in those aspects. So having said that, what are some of the benefits then of drama therapy? Because I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm going through a particular thing in this particular moment, and you're my therapist. What then should I expect? Like the benefits, what should I expect from that? I mean, it's not a one-off thing, I'm sure, because you have to continuously be going through those processes, right? So if I'm going through those processes with you as my drama therapist, what are some of the benefits on a whole? I mean, anybody else who's probably going through drama therapy, what are some of the benefits of that?
Oh, great. Let me just jump into that one first. Improved emotional intelligence. You are better able to communicate with people and understand people, right? But the deeper depth of this is that you are better able to understand self. Let's start
Right.
there. You are better able to understand self, and it is called boosting self esteem and self confidence. This is the first thing. You don't even have to be with a group or anybody, but the first thing that you would get out of it is increased self confidence, boosted self esteem.
Right.
And then you start seeing yourself differently. So the self concept, you reshape that, you reform that. I'm starting with this as a foundation. Then you become a better communicator. Mhm. Yes, you can now be a great
Absolutely.
listener. You're no longer judging, but you are listening to be part of the process, and you become very empathetic, understanding. You become an adaptable person. You're fitting in anywhere. Yeah.
Space.
And of course, team building comes out of all of that. So when anywhere they throw you, you can now fit in and say survivalism. But it improves your self-confidence. First thing. And so for the persons who are listening to this, you must understand that this is the first road that you must travel. Improve self-confidence. Your communication skills, you improve your empathy. So you know you're not no longer laughing at people, but you understand where they're coming
To
from and
understanding where they
what
come
you
from, their
can do to
perspective.
help and to assist.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I guess from a sociological point of view, what we would call that is like you're being a symbolic interactionist. So then you will be on a stage where you can relate to everybody on all social standings. So when somebody is
Yes.
sad, just the emotional intelligence, as you say, has been built. so you understand where that person is coming from. I suppose you would no longer break down and cry with them, but you have more empathy because you really get what that person, you are understanding what they are experiencing or they have experienced in the past. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely,
So
definitely.
so then um let me put it this way. Who can benefit then from drama therapy?
Uh,
Because I am thinking that all of us need that at some point. And it may not be because of depression or anything that might be not pleasant. But sometimes you just need that space to breathe, to reset, to refocus your thoughts, your mindset in particular. So then who can benefit really from having drama therapy?
ooh, what an easy, difficult one. I would say, well, let me put it simply like this: everyone, but let us specialize.
Right.
Everyone, everyone, and I want to nail it first because the people who let's say who experience stress, you're in a stressful job. You don't have to be like stressed out per se, but you're in a job that requires demands a lot of you. You can benefit from drama therapy. That worker that goes 24/7. Hmm? You hear that? The boss who has to multitask and manage so many things can benefit from drama therapy. Yeah?
Right.
hmm Even, no, I'm taking this up to the hospitals. Hmm?
Right.
The
And I know
caregivers.
the hospital is a stressful space to be working in. Hospitals in general.
Oh, yes. Doctors, nurses, and the caregivers, geriatric, and so on. These persons are very much in need of drama therapy, not just for themselves, but so that you can help the client or the patient to live a better life. But you yourself would of course, enjoy a better life. Then you
Right.
go to the police officers. Hello.
That's a stressful job. I know, I
Peacekeepers.
know. If we narrow down to the Grenadian context, I would go to the busman. That's a stressful
Oh,
job.
you got it.
I'll just leave it at that.
You got it. Yes, because you see, it's not just to say, well, okay, I'm stressed, I'm depressed. No, but it helps you to realize and recognize things about yourself so that you can get rid of the painful or the pressuring ones, the burdens, and so you understand how to deal with challenges because that's what it gives to your drama therapy. How do I cleanse the burdens that are thrown upon me or that I meet on my journey? Yeah? And so
Right.
you take it to the family. Every family should get a
That's
dose
so
of drama.
essential. That's
Every,
essential.
yes, yes, because you get to understand. You see, when you keep in family, they tend to have this hierarchy. You know that I'm the father, I'm the mother, so you can't tell me this, you can't say that. And
Yeah.
but you understand where I'm coming from. And then cousin and auntie step in and start to put pressure because they are older. And then you, the little one, the one, then what do I do? You're stressed out. But when you give the family a dose of therapy, they understand that a listening ear is not just for the little ones, but the adults, the seniors. So it works. It's a holistic approach for everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, you touch on the family, and sometimes we take that for, I guess, the family for granted. But one can argue that's where some of the stress or the stressors come from, because different families have different structures and different modes of operating or functioning. So sometimes, yes, some of the stress that persons might be experiencing comes from the family. It could be a husband. There's demand. He has to be provider. He has to be protector. He has to be everything. And sometimes, as I guess I'll narrow it as men, they go through their mental, I guess, trauma. It may not be as dramatic in terms of going to depression, but they need that space or that safe haven to breathe and be able to explain their thoughts or what they're going through, I suppose, without any judgment. And I think that's something that we could probably incorporate in our own families, you know. I know one of the things about Caribbean people, we don't like to go to counselors or therapies because people gonna know we business, you know. So sometimes we tend to keep it inside and don't let an expert and don't get an expert to deal with some of the issues. But I think we should be gone past this stage and understand that these experts are there And one of the ways that we can go, if you don't want to go to a psychologist, you go to a drama therapist. So there are different avenues or different routes, I suppose, we can take to deal with some of the stressors that we might be experiencing. I mean, everybody deals with different things, and I suppose in different ways, and different things would affect person. And I suppose the reason why I remember the busman, I just probably had an experience where a busman really stressed me out today, but I was able to deep to take deep breaths, because they just keep cutting across in the traffic and no indication of things. So that was one of my stresses that can lead to road rage, but I suppose I have emotional intelligence. So I
There you
just
go.
breathe and I let it pass. So maybe at some point I might need drama therapy for something else. One of the things that I know also helps in terms of drama therapy or therapy on a whole is like an art therapist. What's the difference really between a visual art therapist and a drama therapist? I'm asking because I remember, particularly my undergraduate years, I'm using myself as an example. One of the things that I did as elective courses was the visual art, painting, and so on. Because the courses that sometimes I was taking at a particular time, they were heavy, and those are my stressors. But when I went to, let's say, music or introduction to theater and art, it was so relaxing that it set the pace or the tone for the rest of the courses that I had to take. So I'm just remembering taking those visual arts courses, and what would be the difference between the drama therapist and a visual arts therapist? And I suppose that would be our final question. And if there's anything else you want to share about working in that space and how I suppose not only when we have difficulties, we could probably really, I suppose, do drama on a whole or theater. What advice you would probably give to those in authority that we can handle this as a society in a much better and broader context? My final question.
Yeah,
I
I
know
got you.
it's a mouthful. I would go
Yeah,
into it if there's anything you have
I
not
got you.
you forget
I
anything.
got you, man. But you kind of you spoke to it because the visual arts therapy or the art therapist, would use the visual aspect of it, so you're going to the painting, the drawing, and all of that,
Yeah.
and the colors where you pull out things, and they would tend to interpret and, some of them analyze based on what your choices are, based on what you draw. And so they use that as a means of analysis. But the drama therapist goes beyond, the drama therapist goes beyond that. He or she would have to combine, the real drama therapist would have to combine all aspects of the arts. That's why I say you would do drama and theater. But because drama encapsulates all forms of the arts, singing, dancing, you name it, visual arts,
All the
you name it,
emotions.
all of them. So when you do drama, you tend to be in the realm of, if you go the full depth of it, mind you, not just a simple course. You have to go the full 360. Yes. And so the drama therapist who is trained in the performing arts, mind you, and I'm not saying in acting alone, but the drama therapist who should be trained in drama. And I am here highlighting drama in education because it gives you the psychology, the philosophy of life. It's not just a simple journey.
Exactly.
You have to go into the depth of that. And so you are coming in and out with all of that. Instead of just the history of art and the history of other things and the value of color, the value of this and angles and so on and shapes. We are
Right.
going into every aspect of the arts, of every single art. You must understand it and be able to use these strategies. And so the drama therapist uses drama, which is an explorative, and I say exploration process. You delve in, you engage, you explore so that you can develop and create. And then you have the theatrical part of it, or the theater. Not all of them do it though, where you have a performance. I stick to it because it's what you call the performance therapy, where you have the final moment for the artist or the client or the person to release. So you see, the drama therapist should go the full mile, yeah? Instead of not just drawing or painting or using other symbols. but we combine all of them. And that is the journey of it, and that is what it is. It should be a challenge, but if you engage in the full process of drama in education, you will realize that, whoa, I'm there, I'm getting there, I'm in the process, not just being an actor, being trained as an actor. It takes more than that. Yes. So I hope I simplified that to let you see that.
I still want to expand upon what you said
Tell
because
me.
everything you said incapacitated what I would have experienced. However, as you said, we had to go all in. But what I did, I took all the elective courses that
Oh,
allowed me to go all in. So when you talk about the color also bring emotion. But when you talk about drama, when you're on the stage, you feel more empowered. There's more bold. When you wear a particular color, you feel more powerful. So I was relating to everything that you said. Now, having said that, you are an educator. A lot of our students in society are going through different social ills. What are type of abuse? Verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. Um, and since you that's a way of how people can, I suppose, can heal and go through and get out of, let's say, depression, OCD, as I mentioned, and domestic abuse. How then? What advice would you give to in the Grenadian context? I'm Grenadian, so I would always go back to the land for a Grenadian in the Grenadian context. What advice we know that our young people are going through a lot of emotions, and sometimes those emotions come out in negative ways. And sometimes we say, if we had known why they didn't say this or why they didn't say that. As an educator, what advice or suggestions, recommendations would you give to our policymakers in terms of education and in terms of drama therapy? Shouldn't we have all from primary school come right or preschool come right? Shouldn't we do some part of the art that will help build the individual holistically? Because I know for a fact that drama has done that for me. I mean, I did it from since preschool, but I think I took a different focus from primary school. Sorry, I think I did a different focus in my undergraduate years because yes, I wanted to be that well-rounded individual. And again, I'm a social scientist, so we know that we are symbolic interactionists. So whatever stage we are on, we have to play that role, right? So I know personally it has helped me. So what advice would you give to policymakers in terms of how do we incorporate drama
ah,
in our education system? Because I think it will be one of the ways that we might be able to overcome some of the social ills that we're experiencing when we get to full grown adults or as adults.
oh,
So what
yeah.
advice?
Yes,
I know that I said
interesting.
that
Very
my
good.
last question
I
was
love
the
this.
final, but I
I
think
love this.
this one needed to come out. Yeah?
Keep this. I love this because you see, simply put, let me start it here. I built a school on expression, an academy on expression. If
Right.
you want to fix society, you have to return expression to the classroom. You have to return expression to every single classroom, not the feeding of information, but expression.
Right.
And when you return expression and exploration in the classroom, you are building human, you are building creativity, you are opening up doors for creativity. But when you lock that down to say right and wrong, right and wrong, right and wrong, you are destroying creativity. And if you start that as from as low as kindergarten, so you need
Right.
creative arts in the curriculum, but you must first train your teachers. Every single teacher should get a dose. Every educator, let me put it, because some may not be in the government system, should get a
Right.
dose of the creative arts to understand the value of the arts where it builds expression. You give the student, the educator, an opportunity to open up and accept other person's views. But we have a system where we bury students, we stifle
Yeah.
students.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're killing expression, and drama is based on play. Creative arts based on play, play therapy. Since in kindergarten you have children playing, when you're in primary school you're cutting it out a bit. When you're in secondary school you cut it more. When you're in college you cut out
Right.
the rest. You reach university, well, that done. So You take out expression, you take out play, and you think that you're building humans. No, you're building robots. So for the
Robert,
policymakers,
absolutely, absolutely.
we have to go back to bringing creativity in every subject area. And creativity and expression, it doesn't mean that you're taking away from the subject area to teach drama, no, but you're allowing play and fun and expression. That's where it has to start. But you
Absolutely.
must train the teachers, because I want to say this, that the educators can be those who destroy most the creative minds that come into the system. So you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful. You must go back now and fix the curriculum that we have, because the curriculum we have is outdated, is weak. It doesn't help and cater for this new modern generation. So we are maybe 40 years back now. And so if we review the curriculum and we review the training institutions, so not just say that you go to teachers college and you get an A and you come out and you care and you're destroying students instead of you help them. And finally, let me put this one in. If you focus a classroom on behavior modification, you're failing. That's days of the industrial era. It should be an application of things within the classroom,
Knowledge. Absolutely.
so that you don't have to modify. And the behavior is modified when you give that student a chance to express and do. And you'll say, shut up, sit down, stop this. No, engage the student and you're solving the problem. Let me pause.
I think we can go on and on. Everything
Yeah.
you said, I mean, it's, it still happens today. You tell the students to study for a particular exam, it's like, and they ask the questions like, "Oh, you don't need to know about this. You don't need to." So there's no critical and analytical thinking. So when they ask the question, you shut it down. For some reason, when you're in preschool, secondary school, preschool, primary school, and secondary school, when you get to university, they expect you all of a sudden to have that analytical and critical thinking mind, but you killed it like 18 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, you killed it
Yes.
18 years ago. So to wrap up, Dr. Williams, thank you so much for being on the social mind. I believe that your knowledge of drama therapy is really needed right now in our society. I'm not sure how much persons has that level of qualification that you have, but I'm hoping that somebody who has some influence and power might listen or would be listening to the social mind, and you can lend your expertise, because I'm sure you that wouldn't be a problem for you. Lend your expertise, and all of us, I mean, like I said, all of us can benefit from drama therapy. Particularly, I would narrow it down and even go further to our students, right?
Yes.
I believe that it is needed. I believe that the critical and analytical thinking skills, because you get to adulthood, you're a young adult at 20, 21, there are certain expectations that we now expect from you, but we did not teach it to you, whether it's in the home, whether it's in a school, whether it's in a church, but automatically because you reach of age, 18 or 21-year-old, you have that expectation, oh, you're supposed to know this. But the thing is, we did not teach you that. So we got to be mindful of that. So whoever is listening, there's people who can, I suppose, who are willing and ready to help. And let's revamp our educational system in terms of our curriculum. Because yes, you said 40, I would go back 50 years ago. I mean, my daughter is using the same textbook, exactly the same textbook I would have used, and I probably might be hitting 50 in a couple of years. So yeah, just joking. But it's really outdated. So
Yeah.
as we said, we are talking about the arts as therapy, drama as therapy, and drama therapy is the intentional use of theater that I guess we can use to achieve critical analytical thinking skills. We can relieve our stress and stressors, right? We can role play, act out our different emotions, and sometimes instead of being verbally abusive to others, and sometimes I suppose when we receive certain affection, we don't know how to. When we are given certain affection, we don't know how to receive it. That's the
True.
way we can deal with some of those issues. So thank you guys again for tuning into the Social Mind. I wish you a happy 2023, and may you get all you deserve or you require from this universe as we progress into 2023. Dr. Williams, thank you again for being my guest today, my first guest for the year on the Social Mind. So I'll see you guys next week for another episode of the Social Mind. Thank you.